Okay, this is my part two video series on daddy issues and specifically my trauma, my abandonment trauma, my daddy issues, whatnot. So let's get into it. Let's unpack this a little bit because there's some of you that have this opinion that, we should all just forgive our family no matter what they do to us, no matter what they put us through. So let me just put you in check a little bit. So when I was a child, I had a father that was in and out of our lives. It was so inconsistent. We never knew when he was going to show up. We never knew when he was going to stand us up. We never knew when he was going to plan a visit and then just not show up with no explanation. Okay? So that was difficult on the children and also difficult on the mother. Okay, and this can leave lasting damages, lasting consequences. And yeah, sure, he blamed my mom for being difficult and this and that, but you know what? She was difficult for a reason because the shit that my father put me through, and my mother was no cakewalk either. She was an extremely abusive, negligent, neglectful bitch, but that's besides the point. I can write a whole book on the mother wound, which I'm actually working on. And I guess the father wound is next because clearly there's a lot more to unpack than I care to pay any mind to. So, aside from the inconsistency and the continual abandonment, let's get into it. What has my dad really done to me as a child that has left lasting effects aside from that? Okay. Well, we can start off when I was 10 years old, and he decided to kick me out of the house after me just living with him just for a few short months. And he seemingly kicked me out because he went into this rage because I stood up for my little brother, who is now dead of a drug overdose. And my father had backhanded him into a closet at 7 years old. Now, I have always been one to stand up for the one getting bullied, to stand up for the oppressed, the underdog, like whoever, I always stand up for the little guy, no matter the scenario, no matter the bully. Okay, I've always had that ingrained in me. So, I stood up to my dad about that, and I said, hey, that's not right. You can't do that. Da, 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 da. It's not like I was about to, go and get him into any trouble or anything, but maybe he got scared that I might. And I know parents lose their temper, and I really hope that every parent that loses their temper gets help for it. Anyways, so dad sends me upstairs. And this is where the spirit of King Henry VIII comes in. And I'll explain that in part 3.